Today, it's Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank bringing the positive vibes on KJ Today.
KJ, love your name. What does it stand for?
Oh, you know what? It stands for Carrie Joel, which Joel was my maiden name. And when I moved to Indianapolis to work in radio, there were already 5 Carries at the radio station. So they dubbed me
Wow.
KJ and it stuck.
They were smart. It's easy to remember. It's a great name.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, Barbara, I'm excited to have you here on the KJ Today show. I have so many people listening this morning. I've got my own little group of entrepreneur friends that are, in this together. I started my media company in 2017. So we're all here
Wow.
just like ready for your wisdom and your knowledge and everything that you're always so willing to give that we see on Shark Tank, and now we can have Barbara in our pocket, right?
You got it, baby. I shrunk myself up. I'm now pocket sized.
So tell us, this is rolling out in January. Tell us, basically, it's a community for entrepreneurs to learn from you, right?
It's a community about entrepreneurs who are serious about having success in their life. I mean, I have a lot of people in there who are dreaming about being entrepreneurs, but all the good gold comes from everybody who's struggling at the same moment to make a go of it, So I give unfiltered, no bullshit advice, whatever they need. I realize that entrepreneurs often encounter the same issues starting a business. Loneliness, believe it or not, is a big one. But now they're a member of my community, and everybody in the community helps everybody. And that just feels good. And you might not think that's important as having the cash flow, having a business plan. But let me tell you, if you don't have it, you don't get out of the gate. People just never really do it. They're too lonely. They're too scared. So I get them out of the gate. And then we do deep dives into the business topics they most want to hear from. I always address what they need right now because it's one thing I've often been off on what I think people need. So I always ask, what do you need? What do you need? So I'm always in touch, giving them what they need. We have chat rooms for feedback. We have behind the scene videos. We have roundtable discussions, whatever the entrepreneur needs. But I feel, I'm so sorry. I have a cold I'm getting over. That's why my throat is weird. But I feel so good on the difference I make in their life. I mean, just the confidence is greatly enhanced by what we do on our little team that we have together. But more importantly, I address the issues that they need day to day.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, the loneliness factor. That was one of the things that, it honestly shocked me a bit when I went into my own business was, wow, it's a different level of stress, right? And you get into like, well, if I'm not making money, nobody's making money. And then you just get in this like whole thing of like, I've got to work. And that networking part and having that support is so important. So I was thrilled to hear that you are building this kind of community, Barbara.
Yes, and community is the right word. Everybody needs, especially today, everybody needs to belong to someone. But this is a community that's not just for friendship, but really, more importantly, for help.
I asked some questions this morning, Barbara, just to, people that were going to be listening, like what do you want to know? And one of the things that came across over and over was entrepreneurs who provide services. So I've got a Reiki master listening, a marketing guru, like all of these people that offer services. How do you have any advice for them? That it's really difficult when you're selling yourself as opposed to a product.
I think people who are in the service business have the highest potential for being really successful and wealthy if you can get enough people buying it. And that is what it's about. Service businesses, I don't think, are about service so much. Hopefully you get to the service part, but it's about sales. My advice very often to people who are not getting to second base with their service business is, what are you spending your time on? And I have them make a list of where they're spending their time. And they're very busy. They're working long hours. But you know what I always find? They're working on the wrong stuff. The only thing important in service is that you get the sales, whether it's being consulting, whether you're, whatever you're doing. You have to get the sales and paying customers or you don't stay in business. So what I do on my podcast very well, I'm calling it a podcast. It's not really a podcast. It's a platform. Sorry for that. What I do very well is really retrieve from other people who are exactly doing the same thing at the same moment to help each other. What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you got? What do you got? I've got my opinion, and I always think it's the best opinion, of course, between you and me. But I have often been outshone by somebody else that has another opinion. And so sales is the name of the game. You shouldn't even call it a service business. You should be looking at it as a sales business. It's got to be focused on getting sales.
And Barbara, I know you've told the story a gazillion times, but we were talking this morning about how you came into this with straight D's in high school and college and a ton of jobs before you turned 23, and it was $1,000 that changed your life. Can you share those beginnings with us?
Yes, I think some of the reasons why I was so successful and became successful in my own marketplace against all odds, against the big guys, was because I had the background of 22 jobs, because I had the background of being a lousy student and being rejected and labeled as a stupid kid, and because I had to deal with that. I mean, I didn't know then, but I learned certainly in my early 20s that I had the perfect roadmap for someone who's going to be successful. I had misery as a kid because I didn't have what the other kids had. I couldn't keep up with them, right? So when I got out of that jailhouse, other people lovingly called school. I hated every minute of school. I was so free to use other gifts that I had. I couldn't read or write, but boy, can I talk. You compensate for things you can't do. You can't read and write well. You learn to be a gabby kid, and that's what I'm very good at. Talking. You learn marketing tricks because you realize people sometimes are so focused on kind of like financial things and practical things that sometimes you are naturally an out of the box thinker and can entertain them and get the attention and come up with a gimmick. And that's very often what people who struggle as kids are very good at. And the majority of my great entrepreneurs from Shark Tank all had struggles in school. It's a weird thing. The majority of the sharks on Shark Tank weren't good students either. I was surprised to find out that. I was like, Kevin, you weren't a good student. You seem so smart. Nah, I never got a good grade. It's the way it goes. So I came in and had my lucky break of getting $1,000 loan, or I certainly wouldn't have started a business. My parents weren't going to give it to me. But I had that rich background at 23. I felt like I was 43 because I'd worked so hard and so long. I knew a lot about business. I knew what a bad boss was, what a good boss was. I knew how to motivate people because I saw it done to me or not done to me. So I kind of borrowed from all those jobs to create a business that was very strong and try to do most of the calls right.
Well, Barbara, we are so honored to have had this time with you today. Let's talk about Barbara in Your Pocket. Where can people get signed up and follow along and be a part of your community?
If it suits you well, you can go on barbaracorcoran.com. It's easy. Just sign up, and you'll be hearing from me live within the next few days. We're another live platform chat room, and we're going to be chatting up another storm.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Very happy I spoke with you. Thank you so much, KJ.
Thanks for joining us for another celebrity interview. Of course, the KJ Today Show isn't just about talking to celebs. It's about hanging out with you. Join us live on Wednesday nights for pop culture, people to know, and pets. The KJ Today Show on YouTube. Subscribe and watch live Wednesday nights at